Greetings and salutations. Welcome to my stream, where I'm currently playing Pathfinder Kingmaker. You will note that there is a little warning that it's on all of the screens. I am going to say this once. There is no talk of Cyberpunk 2077, apart from I own it, and it is most pleasurable. And to a certain degree, kind of wish I was playing it right now. But, you know, I've got a schedule, which is Pathfinder Tuesdays and Thursdays. Going forward, I'm thinking of doing a stream tomorrow, Friday, and potentially on Mondays as well. I need to try and figure out Mondays. Maybe I could do it then. Monday's the day that I do a lot of things. But it's like the only day that I'm not doing anything that's involving other people, so I can move it around a little bit. So yeah, that's when this stream, you can talk all you want about Cyberpunk 2077 to a certain degree. But outside of that, no, there is no talking about Cyberpunk. I have a couple of friends who are regular followers here. Who haven't got it yet, who want to get it, and have been like me trying to keep themselves so blind to Cyberpunk 2077 that they literally know nothing about it, not anything other than it's Cyberpunk 2077. So I don't care what tidbit of knowledge you might think isn't spoilerific. It's still going to give something away about the game that people might not know. So, there is no talk. This was your only warning. It is on screen. Hi, Shaitan. I do that because there's a laptop over there and I've got myself up on screen and the chat's there. And hi, Shaitan. So, yeah, no talk whatsoever of it. And we're here to play Kingmaker, Pathfinder Kingmaker. So, let us get on with the show. And yes, it is a little bit annoying that I've got the text there on screen saying talk of that's weird. Is that just that's just a lighting issue. It looks like there's a background on talk of Cyberpunk 2077, but only that bit, but it's actually just lighting on my laptop. Alright, where were we up to in Pathfinder? Oh wait, let me kill the backing music. There we go. And then back to the game. We'd visited the Shrine of Lamashtu. We'd interrogated a great number of people in this little inn. And then brought the High Priestess of Lamashtu to justice. I am not going to steal these things, although I really would like these things. But I'm a good guy, so I'm not going to. I don't really know what I'm doing next, but I think there's a quest in my journal that basically says gather everybody and speak about what we found. So I think that's going to keep progressing the plot forward. Cooked up some charges, gave them the just desserts. Good, J-Station, you're here. You can probably see the text that there's a ban on all Cyberpunk 2077. You being my one and only moderator. Suppress any of that stuff, and you have my full authority to basically bollock anybody who tries to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. So yeah, attend the council, we scattered the Baron and visited the goblins, dispersed the cult of Lamashtu, and even participated in a real vivisection. No, it's okay, Shifon. It's more, J-Station is actually a personal friend of mine, and that's kind of the way with most of my mods. And I don't really get enough traffic to really warrant too many more mods. 9 times out of 10. I just handle these things myself. But your volunteering is noted, and we'll be kept in mind should I ever actually get popular enough to require multiple mods at all times. So yeah, gonna go over to Loachingdale because I'm guessing this is where the council will be. How's my audio levels?
Need to catch my breath.
The game sounds a little loud to me, but I don't know whether that's just me clearing out my ears and I can actually hear it for once. Yes, that's why you are the main reason for the complete ban on Cyberpunk 2077. Because I don't want anybody even coming close to spoilerific stuff. You know, it's all like, no, there's just a blanket ban. Nobody gets to talk about it. I only mention it when I'm basically saying it will get you banned.
Serves you right.
Because I think you're like me. You know next to nothing about it and you prefer to keep it that way, and I'm a big fan of keeping it that way. So yes, anyway, back to this game. On to other things, because I can't really think. I'm going to go to a council meeting in this. I'm not sure how many people who heard about the novel series by Frank Herbert called Dune. They're actually Morpheus, something like that. They're a publishing company who release role-playing games.
This should do it.
And they are releasing soon their
A calculated risk.
a RPG based around Dune. So I really shouldn't, because I own a lot of systems that I don't really get a chance to play because I like the idea. But at the same token, you know, it's all like, yeah, I own this book. I've never gotten a chance to play it. I think the council meeting is probably going to be a major sort of like gateway to this chapter. So far, it feels like everything that I've been doing is very sort of like bitty. You know, I've been on a hunt, and that really, you know, people just spawned into monsters. I went to a real life vivisection, and that spawned a monster. We went to the Cult of Lamashtu, who are interested in spawning monsters. I think that was a bit of a red herring, just to try and get a bit of a feel out there for why.
This is for you.
I can't think of much else that I've done this chapter, but this, you know, the previous chapter, it felt like, here's 5 things that you can do. You can choose what order you do them in. Just do them. And all of those plot points coming together gave you an idea of... Hey, Mr. Monopoly. How's it going? The giveaway at 50 followers is a £10 Steam or Paizo gift card. And yes, I do have to rack my brain about that. It's going to be the winner's choice as to which one it is. It's just, I appreciate that this is a fairly old game. So many people who own it probably won't be... You know, if you don't own it by now, you probably never will. So maybe you don't want anything on Steam.
Do not falter.
When it comes to Paizo are the publishers, or the writers and publishers of the original adventure. And there's a few people that I know who are deeply into their role-playing games and so they might not want a Steam gift card. They'll take the
All
Paizo voucher
according to
instead.
plan.
But yeah, currently at 31
need to catch my
individuals.
breath.
So every little helps at getting me up to the required 50 for affiliation as well. Which is the main reason for doing the giveaway is just like, it's bribery. Straight and simple. It's bribing people to come to my channel, give me a follow, and then maybe I
Slavery
can get
didn't
Twitch
break you.
affiliation in...
But could you forgive those who hurt you and give them a chance to atone?
Hell no! These wretches had 100 chances. 1,000. Millions. I'll think about forgiving them when they set all their other slaves free.
I forgot what I was talking about. So yeah, this chapter so far doesn't feel like it's really given me much to work with in terms of a plot as of yet. So I'm expecting sort of like a nice big, sort of like, here's half a dozen things to do. Unrest in the streets. People are gradually losing faith in their Baron. Your associates anxiously await you in the castle, ready to discuss the situation. The greedy tax collector is Jubiliost. Is there anything for... No, there's nothing for Valerie, who just finished. You think we're going to go to war? I don't think I'm going to go to war yet. I think I'm going to get over this plague of monsters. And then it's going to be so like, now that you've had some breathing room, here's a war to contend with. That's my bet on where the plot is going. But we'll find out just in a moment when it finishes loading. And yes, you're a warmonger. Doop doop doo, doop a doop doo. The throne room is full of people. Your allies stand around the throne, waiting in silence as you approach. The atmosphere is tense. Today, you will be discussing the strange and deadly blight that recently struck your barony. The gloomy silence is only penetrated by loud chewing. Knock Knock has grabbed a whole fried chicken from the table and is busily devouring it, ignoring everyone else completely. Jod folds his hands on his chest. Well, now that we're all here, let us sum up what we know. We've each spent a lot of time and effort to learn what we can about where these monsters came from and what's causing this strange disease. I hope this conversation can help shed some light on the situation. We need to hurry. If we don't find the source of this blight and eliminate it, we may end up with a rebellion on our hands. Can we keep the people calm, persuade them to wait a bit longer? Your Grace, it's hard to expect loyalty and obedience from people in times like this. They're looking for something or someone to blame. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but... Judd cuts Creston off with a gesture. People think you're cursed, Your Grace, and it will be in your own best interest to quickly discover the cause of the disaster that keeps claiming the lives of your subjects. Judd, how did you come to about these rumors of a curse? Each day I see dozens of infected, Your Grace. Many people have lost their loved ones or fear they will soon. They all want to know what's going on, who deserves the blame, and whose sins brought this blight upon them. Trust me, every day the number of people willing to pin blame on you grows. They say you and your barony are cursed. Of course, I don't believe a word of it. This isn't a curse, but some disease, which has somehow manifested itself in your barony. Trust me, I won't leave you until the source of until I find the source of this disease, regardless of what these poor people may say in their delirium. Creston, are you still with the militia? Your Grace, I understand the people very well. They're tired of just waiting and hoping, but for now I guide their eagerness for action in a positive direction. I'm glad to help them avoid hasty decisions which could cause more trouble. At the same time, I'm convinced that a crowd of terrified villagers who arm themselves can't truly be our salvation. This barony has a chance only as long as it has authority and laws. My top priority is helping you remain that authority and that law. I just wanted to assure you I'm on your side. Let us summarize what we found up to this point. Jod, the surgery shows that there was a magic seed causing the disease, correct? Judging by the location of the patient's bodies, these seeds were ingested. It seems likely that they're initially extremely small, almost invisible, and people simply swallow them with their food. Once the seed's in the stomach, it begins to grow and cause symptoms we've seen in our patients. As soon as the seed gains enough strength, it sprouts and turns into a magical portal, just like a bud turning into a flower. Estrel, forgive me. Something must have possessed me to say that. It really does look like blooming. Each seed tears the body of its victim, just as the flower tears its bud. Creston, we discovered that the last Mashtu cultists weren't involved in the monster's infestation. It doesn't seem they're innocent of other crimes, but the monster invasion at least is not their work. Hearing the name Lamashtu, knock knock draws attention. Mother is not to blame here. Told you, but who listened to me? Goblins obviously like having all these monsters around. To them, it's a sign of Lamashtu's benevolence. I'd say they're just excited about anything new that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they're linked to this story somehow, but I doubt the seeds were creations of goblin shamans. Besides, a plan like this seems a little beyond the local goblin chief's intelligence. Know what I think? I think the Goblin King is rotten lice scratcher. Shaman plays him like a reed pipe, babbles about Lamashtu, then plots behind his back. And can you tell me where these monsters come from, Tristan? The ones that appear because of this bloom? Undoubtedly, they're from some world alien to our own. All the monsters appearing from the bloom are exceptionally large and strong. It would be rare to encounter such specimens in the Stolen Lands, or even on most of Glorian. But it's impossible to say what it is that lies the other side of the portals that's intent on killing our people. That's all I need to know about the results of the research. So, the bloom's essential properties are strange seeds that get into people's bodies. Which causes their disease and eventually creates a magic portal. Now we just need to discover where the seeds are coming from. If I may, I noticed an interesting detail. Well, two details to be precise. First, the seeds mostly affect the villagers. There have been no recorded cases of disease within city limits except for those who came here looking for the cure. That's right. Thus, we can assume a common factor is how the people are exposed to these seeds. Many villagers get their food from the same territory. I don't think food's a problem. Take a look. We have the most cases of a disease here, and over here. Monsters mostly attack here and here. The cleric clicks his. The cleric's fingers travel down the map, tapping points along a fluid line. You see, the situation is most dire along the banks of the Gudrun River. Estrel have mercy, exactly, along the river. That must be where the seeds are coming from. They're drinking water. I didn't expect that conclusion, but okay. Kestron, the militia most often finds monsters by the river, right? I think used to think the monsters were just coming to the river to drink. But if what the cleric says is right, there are dozens of villages along the riverbank, hundreds of people. How many are likely to already infected? Are you suggesting we wait for them all to succumb to this bloom, Baron? Well, let's pray we can deal with this situation before that happens. Yeah, I'm just thinking about traditional seeds where it's like it tends to be an air thing if it's not a food thing. A food thing, the food will be coming into the city, we're all eating it, so that rules out that one. So the air is the second most likely transportation method. Is my, well, spores or, you know, just seeds that, dandelion seeds, they float about in the air and get everywhere. Well, that was kind of my guess, but you know, the aquatic distribution method is a possibility, and also it would be why it's limited to along the river line. And also why it doesn't come here into the city, because I think we have a well. They've put the lion back into dandelions. Yes. We have to go upstream and find the source of this blight. Take me! Me! I want to settle the score with the king! Knock Knock jumps at your words. The goblin bares his sharp, crooked teeth. If you'll allow me, Baron, I'd like to take the lead on this. I'll take all the best members of the militia with me and sweep the woods along the river. We'll look under each and every rock if needed. After everything we've been through, these people deserve a chance to discover the source of their misfortunes. No, Crestron, we have to deal with this carefully and rationally. Go to your people and await my arrival. I thought pious was a religious thing. You're right, of course, Your Grace. I'll order my men to get ready immediately. We'll await for your arrival and then make our move. He then gives a short bow, turns around and leaves, but he already did that in graphics dumps. Oh, goody two shoes. I mean, if I remember his backstory a little bit, it's like he kind of got kicked. He was sort of like the child of a lord. So, I don't know. He kind of makes sense that he knows his way around people. And there is something. There it is. A hair trapped in my vape. God, how are the patients in the prison doing? After finding the source of the disease, we've been working to remove the seeds from people day and night. We've saved so many, but for each patient we cure, we receive 2 newly infected. No, what can you tell me of your brethren? Dangle-eared fool holes, and they be trusting any word the same says. They not think with their own heads, see only big beasts and not see big truth. Great Lamashtu may be happy of all big beasties around, but it's not be her doing. After mentioning of the goddess, Knock Knock stops talking, rounds his shoulders, and looks around nervously. Tristan, how did you find the link between the disease and the river? You see, Baron, these seeds are not the only sign of something abnormal at work. Remember the runes, where we first met? The glade near those runes, full of huge flowers? Glades such as that tend to appear all over the stolen lands. Seems strange, does it not? Especially if we take into account that the magic seeds and the portals they create look like flowers themselves. Even Jod called this disaster the bloom. I'd like to research this natural phenomenon? And perhaps... Somebody's coming back walking in. Who are you? Your Grace, we have trouble. The peasants are rioting. Ugh, that's the only solution these nitwits could come up with. Don't worry, Baron, as long as they're not setting fire to the streets, we'll still have a chance of coming to a peaceful resolution. If you'll allow me, I'll go and speak with them, and do my best to calm the crowd down. And if peace doesn't prevail, your guards and I will stand with you. Let's go. I can hear their shouting even from here. Yeah, phenomenon. Do. Phenomenon. It's the only way that I know how to say the word phenomenon. So how is everybody doing in the chat, by the way? The murmuring crowd takes up almost the entire square. Their murmuring turns to shouts at your arrival, and a stone flies out of the crowd and strikes the cobbles at your feet. There he is! Out at last! Damned his eyes! My eyes? Please hear me out before you lynch me. I know you're tired and disgruntled. I am too. Day after day, I and my companions seek the solution to your misfortunes. We've saved so many from this fatal disease, and if the gods have mercy, we can save even more. Damn your eyes is an oldie worldy insult, Falf. I mean, it is supposed to be an oldie worldy world, so... So please, let us do what we can. Return to your homes, to your loved ones. They need you. You just need your patience and good faith. The crowd before you sways and mumbles. People look to one another, talk in hushed tones, shake their heads and frown. It seems rebels who were screaming and jeering a minute ago lost all their confidence. Finally, one of the peasants opens his mouth. The Baron is right. You really believe it? This is pure nonsense. Don't you get it? You could run the Baron through and it wouldn't change a thing. He's more used to alive than dead. So be it, Baron. We'll let you pass, but don't forget, we're trusting you with our lives. Find the source. Save our children from this terrible sickness. That does not rhyme at all well. You know, what's the point in a good riot if it's not going to have some good chant and rhyme in there? This is not to make light of people who actually riot. I appreciate that rioting is a very serious thing and it isn't just all about the chanting and the shouting and the rhyming, but I just feel that it helps put a point across when you get a rhyme stuck in somebody's head. Right. So, go up the Gudrun River to find Kestrel and his militia. Okay, great stuff. Well, these commoners need a lesson in martial order. I mean, I could give them a lesson in violence, but I don't want to. Bum bum bum. See, one of the problems I've got is classes, training, economy. That's what I want to see. So yeah, it's only really the promotion of the divine. Right, no. Rank up, that's the one that I was looking at. Just loyalty. Do I have a divine advisor? Yeah, I've got... Jubilius was the accountant. Oh, you're the curator, that's it. Okay. I don't think... I don't think I need to rest. How's my inventory looking? Let's sort it. Let's go see a merchant and get rid of that junk. Oh, the storyteller. Itchy nails. Brought you some relics. 300 for a dryad token. 300 for Taldan Warrior's dog tag. And that'd be about it. Oh, that's... How many of these damn pieces of ring do I have? I got 5. I think this might be the main... if I ever actually do replay this game and play it as a different alignment, I'm probably going to end up looking up a game guide for all of these things, like the scorched fragments of a necklace. I've got 6. I need 7. I need 12 of these. I've got 5. I'm not sure how many of the other things that I need, and the collections of things, because there's also Restoffic Inquisitor's Bow, Restock's Paladin, Restock's Ranger, Restock's Sword Lord, and I think there's another one to go with that, but that's the rune-covered ancient leather strap is something else. Suit blackened, suit blackened, suit blackened, suit blackened, and I think there's 5 of them as well. And just missing that one from all these different collections is rather annoying. Oh yes, it's unholy. I'll bag that for the moment. Sling staff. I mean, it's a sling staff +2. So many weapons in Pathfinder. I mean, this is one of the things I like about Pathfinder is there's a lot of different weapons out there that you can find. It gives a lot of flavor to things. But because it's pretty much just, it's very specific. You've got the short sword, the long sword, the bastard sword, the two-handed sword, and I think that's it. Oh, the dual blade sword. They're all just variants of swords, but each one of them has a different weapon focus point. But then you've got falchions, sabers, rapiers, and just so many different variants. So it's nigh on impossible to be skilled in all of them because you just don't get that many feats. But at the same token, it comes out with the sling staff +2, and it's all like, I don't think I've got anybody proficient in sling staff. I don't know, maybe? I can't. Maybe people are proficient in it. It's an exotic weapon proficiency, so probably not. So I can't really use it, but I don't want to sell it because it's a +2, and I don't really have much in the way of +2s at the moment. Offer up all of a junk. Deal 25,000. I keep thinking I could do with looking for some Dark Iron? Is it Dark Iron? Cold Iron. Do the weapon soldier class get proficiency in all weapons? No, they don't. They get proficiency, because if we go to Valerie and look at her character abilities, they get simple weapon proficiency and martial weapon proficiency. Oh, she does actually have exotic. So yeah, she's got the sling staff. And it's in theory available to everybody, because it's just, you know, you need a base attack bonus of +1. And, you know, you can be any class and take these feats. But this is the thing, it's like, because I don't think she has got a... No, she's mainly focusing on a shield, but if we go over to Amory, who also has exotic weapon proficiency, but she's also got weapon focused bastard sword, improved critical bastard sword, and there's other feats I'm pretty sure that you can get that are just improvements on a specific weapon. But because there's so many of them out there, at what point do you go, I want you to just specialize in this one weapon, never knowing at all whether a named powerful variant of that weapon is going to come up anywhere in the narrative? I appreciate in D&D they've basically trimmed down the list. It's only a page or so. I mean, one of the things I like about Pathfinder 2nd edition is anything that's not particularly named. Oh, that's what I was looking for. I was coming to see you about Cold Iron. A Cold Iron Hand Axe and a Cold Iron Earthbreaker. I mean, they're available to you two and nobody else. What is this? This is two-handed. See, I kind of want to get her a cold iron weapon just in case it comes up. I've got the money, so why not? At the worst case scenario, it just sits her in her inventory and she never uses it. But if I do come across something which is very that has regeneration cold iron, at least I've got a cold iron. But yeah, in Pathfinder 2nd edition, if you go out into the world and find a +1 weapon, it turns out it is inscribed with runes that give it that +1 ability. You can go to a merchant, or you can do it yourself as part of the crafting, that basically takes off that rune empowerment and applies it to a different weapon. So it's less critical that you've got one. I did mention a dragon that I met that's had something to do with Cold Iron. I can't remember where I left it now. That's a bit annoying. It's around somewhere. Alright, so where am I supposed to be going? Golden River to the east of the capital. Wait, north, south, east. Okay, so we're searching this side, that side, both sides. Yeah, the weapon fusions of Starfinder are kind of similar, but you know, it's been more implemented into you know, you can lift them off one and put them onto another as a crafting check in Starfinder. You can either get it as a weapon fusion for that weapon and it stays only on that weapon, or you can spend 10% extra and get it as a fusion seal. But if it's a fusion seal, the fusion seal has a level and it can only be applied to weapons that are at or below that level of seal, as long as the weapon is greater than the fusion's level, which is rather, it's the most confusing way that they could have put it. Freed prisoner? Help, the goblins are upon us. Okay. Valerie, I need you to get up there.
This didn't work. I must be doing it wrong.
Just move up there. Yeah, it's slightly convoluted. And to a certain degree, it also takes 24 hours to apply it. Now, I've always kind of hand-waved that rule. Because one of the annoying things about that, especially from Starfinder Society, is the number of times that you'll be sort of like, oh, you're dealing with ghosts. Here, have a disruption fusion seal. Alright, that's great.
Bring it!
I apply it to my weapon. We now stand around for 24 hours on this abandoned spaceship. Where we could die at any moment and the oxygen's running out, waiting for this fusion seal to take effect.
Let's try
No,
this
you
way.
kind of move on with the adventure and just deal with the ghost like you normally would. I know, strictly speaking, you know, it's one of them where if none of the players mention it to me, I do not mention the whole 24-hour thing. I don't think these guards are gonna. Oh, some of these guards aren't gonna make it. They're all far too clustered up for me to get off a good pit. I wonder if I can get a pit off though. Spiked pit. Pits. Yeah, I could just throw the sentries into a pit, but I kind of don't want to do it. The cost of command. What's the cost of command? The fact that I'm slightly concerned about my peasant guards. Oh, there's Creston. Hey, Creston. Right, let us move up with Tristan all of the way. Because we're kind of out of goblins back here. Are any of these within charging? Okay, you can charge up to that one. There we go. Jesus, they're useless guards! A 2 to hit a guy with a shield. Suppose I should sit up. Good posture and all that, especially now that I'm on camera. Amory, can you charge up to any one of these guys? Ooh, get from the goblin sentry. There we go. Strike the fear of, well, you into them all. Lynx, I don't know what that means, but he's dead.
You deserved it.
Oh, Lindsay and your short little legs. I forgot the quality of office chairs until I was in this morning. I mean, what kind of office chairs do you have? Do you have the senator ones that we're supposed to? I'm not sure. They make it sound fancy by giving you the name senator, but they're actually sort of like just bog standard office chairs. But they're slightly better than the previous edition of chairs
You forced my hand.
that we at least had in our office. Although we don't have that office anymore. If anybody else is listening, me and Jay Station, we work for the same company.
Onwards!
We're not supposed to mention on social media unless it's promoting the company as to which company, but like most companies, they've got lousy chairs. That guy went squish. So I was also kind of mentioning earlier in the stream that it's like Dune and the yeah, they might have been better. I mean, we'd not had them too long. Well, I say not had them too long. We'd have them probably about 2, maybe 3 years at this point.
This should do it.
After the office refurb. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that that was our old style of chair. So yeah, the senator ones are slightly better than that, but not by, you know, they look better than that. They're not massively more comfortable than that. No. So like, if they'd offered me one of those chairs to take home after, given that we all got thrown into quarantine, especially seeing as though they were shutting the office, I would have been like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Right, now we're ganging up on the goblins, and I don't think I lost a go. Yay. So yeah, Dune's getting its own RPG setting. There's a collector's edition that I kind of like the look of, but at 250 quid, yeah, 250 quid. These people need help. Find some food and blankets for them, and something or other. Kirsten nods, his armor covered in cuts and scratches. There is blood on his gloves, but he himself is uninjured. You're right on time, Baron. We were losing hope. No longer now that you are here. Further down the path, behind the palisade, lies a nest of goblins. We've chanced upon it while heading up the river. I've no idea where I've no idea when these pests managed to build it up, and so fast. We scouted it less than 10 days ago, and there was no trace of them. Whatever the cause, the surrounding area is thick in goblins. Only one of the scouts made it back. He reports they've raised a fort of sorts atop of the hill around a totem of Lamashtu. They've packed their fort with cages, with prisoners inside. We've managed to rescue a few of the captives, others escaped and came back on their own. We've questioned them. They say the shaman performs rituals on the prisoners. We've entrenched ourselves here to prepare for an attack, but the goblins keep coming at us. They're not giving us a moment's peace. The way they're hounding us, we cannot protect the survivors and the camp and attack the camp at the same time. Only you can rescue the caged prisoners in the fort, Your Grace. What do you get for... so you get the core rulebook. You get the GM screen. You get the 3 house books, which are Atreides, Harkonnen, and I think it's Carillion? Kavos? I'm gonna have to Google this. 1 second, let me just come out of the thing. Let's go to just talking. Hello. Let's have some background music. Right, so you get the Carino, complete set of collector's edition core rulebooks. Oh, okay. So the Atreides, Harkonnen, and Carino core rulebooks. I think that's 3 copies of the same book, but I'm not sure because you also get the standard edition core rulebook. A beautiful journal containing both characters and house sheets, as well as lined graphed blank paper for your records and secrets. A Game Master's Toolkit, a striking panorama of Arrakis containing all tables and charts you need for play, as well as a 32-page booklet containing ready-made intrigues, encounters, and adventure generator. You get 2 sets of dice, which I do believe are only D20s. And you get a PDF of the core rulebook and the Game Master's Toolkit. So I think it's basically 4 copies of the core rulebook. This is starting to look a little less enticing. You know, because if it's just a change of the covers on 4 books that are identical, then it doesn't really seem worthwhile to me. I also know nothing about the system. I'm not entirely sure if it's... It doesn't say, as far as I can see, that it's based on any existing system. See, this is the part that I don't know. It literally just says a complete set of collection edition core rulebooks. Atreides, Harkonnen, and Carino, as well as a standard edition core rulebook. If I dig into... it's just going to take me back to... Right, so if I go back to this and go for the Atreides Collector's Edition... The Atreides Dune Adventures in the Imperium Atreides Collected Edition core rulebook contains everything you need to Agents of the Noble Houses. A brand new version of the 2D20 system. Never heard of a 2D20 system. An extensive look at the Imperium societies, factions, history, technology, culture, faith, and more. Guidelines for novice and experienced game masters on how to run a Doom-themed adventure. Rules on creating a noble house of your own, from a minor to a major. Detailing holdings, areas of expertise, agenda. Systems for architect play, where you become puppet masters, moving agents of your design to serve your house. And an introductory adventure designed to quickly get you and your fellow players into the Byzantine plots of the Imperium and on Arrakis. That suggests to me that all 4 books are going to be exactly the same. I don't know. I think I'd have to go digging a little bit further. But yeah, for 254 quid, it doesn't seem worthwhile the cost. Apart from these are, you know, the collector's edition books Does it tell me how many they're making? No, it doesn't even. A special edition cover featuring the hawk symbol of the House Atreides. That is another bullet point that I've just read. Oh, wait. Let's... Right, can I get to one of the other houses? View all in local currency. I don't... Right, that's the Atreides one. That's a player's bundle. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about being able to buy the non-Atreides one on its own, which doesn't help. Because at the end of all of this, you scroll down and it's all an 82-page preview PDF includes full rules and conflicts chapters from the core rulebook, as well as an introduction to the Dune setting. An adventure Desert Fall is also provided with 6 pre-generated characters, all elite agents of House Atreides. And that, as far as I can see, only comes... Wait, no, that's a complete collector's... Core Rulebook Standard Edition. But that PDF also comes with the Core Rulebook. So it's not exclusive to the Atreides Core Rulebook. So as far as I can tell, you're buying 4 copies of the Core Rulebook. With 3 with fancy covers, 1 with a standard cover. And all the accessories they've released as of yet for the setting for 250 quid, which to a certain degree, you know, the collector's editions of the book is $80. The standard edition is $45. So 80 times 3 is 240. Yeah, 240. So for an extra £14, you're getting another copy of the core rulebook, 2 sets of dice, the GM shield, a splat book for the GM, and a player journal. And to a certain degree, if you were playing this as a group, and we're getting into this as a group, it might make a little bit more sense, because then everybody could chip in a little bit of money. You know, 4 people chipping in like 60 quid each. And you all get a copy of the core rulebook. 3 of you with fancy covers. And it'd be great, you know, one of the things that I've had difficulty with is getting people interested into other settings like the new Minera one. Because the only times that I've ever been able to get people to play it, it's all like, yep, great stuff, we're all going to play this. And it's all like, I got 1 copy of the core rulebook for everybody to share. So it takes quite a while for the players to get up to speed on the rules. And I've had this with other systems where players haven't been quite committed to buying the rulebook. I think the other saving grace might be the fact that this core pack, this collector's bundle, there is only going to be 200 copies made. But yeah. Upon further review, if I am going to buy into that system, I don't think I'm going to buy into the whole 250 quid package. If it was 250 quid and each 4 of those books were individually different, to the point where, you know, buying them individually is worthwhile and would cost more than 250 quid, that would make sense. A little bit. To be tempted. But for the fact that it seems like 4 copies of the core rulebook for 250 quid, that's a little bit sort of like, why do I want 4 copies of the rulebook? Especially seeing as though when you throw in the PDF for free as well. Anyway, we've managed to rescue the captives. Others have escaped. You have the only chance to rescue the caged prisoners from the fort. Can this goblin camp have something to do with the seeds? The only way to find out is to get inside. You'll have to pass the gates and see what's going on in there. How are the prisoners? Some are injured, many are exhausted, and everyone is terrified after what they've been through. All the prisoners we've spoken to say they've been taken to the Lamashtu totem to take part in the magic rituals. What's strange is that the shaman doesn't sacrifice anyone. All he does is shriek and pray to Lamashtu, and then forces the victim to drink water until they start to choke. The prisoners mentioned a shaman. The leader? The scouts mentioned seeing a large white beast atop the hilltop. He thought it might be a wolf. If true, the Goblin King must be somewhere in the camp. I do need to switch back to the game. You are quite right. I found out I was getting a collector's edition of Tasha's, but it's still not arrived. Yeah, Tasha's is one of them where it's like I'm actually kind of tempted to pick it up. I'm not going to pick up the collector's edition. But at the same token, I'm still tempted to pick it up. It does seem like a decent player resource. From what I've heard, I'm still awaiting on Critical Commission's full review of it to me, but I keep forgetting to ask. We discovered the magic seeds are transported by water. If the shaman is infecting prisoners on purpose, then anyone who has consumed the water can give birth to a monster. There's no time. I have to kill them all. What? No. I'm leaving at once. I need to free the prisoners before the goblins serve them for dinner, or worse. I wish you good fortune, Your Grace. Send the ones you rescue our way. We'll protect them. I have to go. I had to hold off ordering it from Amazon for a month, so I feel rewarded. Why did you have to hold off for a month? Just curious. I get the feeling I'm missing somebody. There we go. The goblin, did he have much of interest? No. Ah! In other words, you had other pretty things to buy. And so it took a little while to... Fair enough. Burning sticks. Is this a way to... No, it's not a way to sneak in. I only ordered the... So have you got it from the Travelling Man or have you got it from Amazon? I'm confused. I mean, as far as I can tell, you basically ordered it from Travelling Man, but they weren't open, so you had to wait for it rather than getting it from Amazon. Yeah, I'm well aware of the Travelling Man.
Any last wishes?
Right, okay.
I'll try to make this swift.
But as a reward for your loyalty to a local shop rather than Amazon, they're basically upgrading you to the collector's edition free of charge. Nice. If you're... I mean, there's been a couple of the collector's editions where I've been a bit dubious about the artistical choice. What I dislike is that they weren't consistent with it. You know,
This will hurt.
do I have them to hand? Right, that's Xanathar's. So, if you've never seen the stylized ones, the special edition ones, that's Xanathar's. It's very abstract. It is very sort of like it gets the meaning across without being detailed. And then somewhere along the lines, they decided to go for more that. Where it's all like, it's super detailed. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty enough. But it doesn't look different enough, in my humble opinion, from any other role-playing book you might get. I much preferred the stylized. And they came out with a bunch of these in the same stylized manner. I don't have another one of them. I think I've got Volos in the stylized manner. Around somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've got Volos. I don't see it right now, but then again, I can very rarely see these things, and then I get up to look around, and lo and behold, it's exactly where I thought it was. So yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the way that and you don't think it was out of the loyal. Just call it a sense of loyalty and feel good about being loyal to a local shop rather than going off to Amazon. That's my humble opinion.
Bring it!
Because yes, it might not have been loyalty, it might have just been luck, but at the same token, I had to let go of a bit of OCD on how much... Yeah, the Theros book is really pretty, but I've had to let go of a bit of OCD on with how it goes with my bookshelf. Does it stand out or something? I'm confused.
So it's come to this.
And when you say let go of a bit of your OCD, have you just gotten over it and somebody threw a grenade at us? That wasn't very nice. God, this is one tough goblin. I mean, that feels a little bit overkill. Nope, just enough kill. Put the alchemist in a hole. Let's see if throw a bomb at us from there.
Let's try this way.
So yeah, I think if I liked the newer style, the standard D&D spine, standard oh right, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean that was the other thing that kind of didn't make sense is the spines. Because I one second, I'm gonna get up and see if I can see Volos. I have far too many books and far too many places to be hiding books. And where the bleeding blue blazes did I leave it? Found it. There we go. So yeah, again, that very nice, very stylized, not too much detail on it, but enough to get a point across that it's about monsters. And that's the spines on it. So it's not your standard D&D spines, but two of them are in a very one distinct style of having a silvered / gold border, and none of the D&D symbols or the words Dungeons and Dragons line up at all on them. It's just why? Why can't they just have these tiny little things that I just feel that many people, because it's one of them things, people who don't care about it wouldn't notice it in the slightest. Those who do care about it are going to notice if it's different. I mean, I've seen people with Paizo, because on the spine of a Paizo book, especially Adventure Paths, it's got the number in the series for all Adventure Paths. Where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Dead Sons, and then they came out with Against the Iron Throne, which was 7, 8, and 9. And so forth. All them numbers are in the same place. Then it says Starfinder in exactly the same style. Then it says the name of the adventure path. And then I think it says something else towards the bottom. Oh yeah, what part number it is. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult to see. But that is a spine of the book. And all of them are in exactly the same font, in exactly the same places. So you've got the number there, the Starfinder there, the title starts there, it goes on, and down at the bottom it says part number, this is 4 of 6. And so if you get them all on a shelf, and all nicely arranged, they're all perfectly matching up. Apart from for one adventure path, in Pathfinder, I think it was, where they accidentally shifted the number ever so slightly, and so many players complained. And the D&D logo, the D&D and the logo in particular, it can be that have been difficult to align. Yeah, none of the things could be difficult to align. I wouldn't have minded if they'd have gone for one style for the normal books and one style for the collector's edition books. But they just basically said, okay, it's not a standard book. Do whatever you want on the spine. How did he get out of the hole? God damn it. I mean, I can't. Well, now we've got a problem. There's a hole between here and there. Lindsay, shoot him.
Serves you right.
Yeah, the goblins are getting impatient. Very rude. Do you have a bow? No, you don't have a bow.
Consider me provoked.
Pretty sure the goblin just went, ah, shit. Times like these where you regret casting the pit. Bum, ba, bum. Ba, ba,
You
ba,
forced
bum.
my hand.
Do you wish you would stop throwing bombs? Going to see if I can crawl around the outside of the pit.
This is for you.
This should do it.
If we could just stop missing, that would be great.
Look at me, Gorum!
That'll do. That's a crit.
I'll try
I
to
mean,
make
so
this
much for
swift.
sneaking down the fortification line. And nope. Ah, Valerie just went into the
Fight if I
pit.
have to.
I'm sure she'll be fine. It's not that deep. I hope.
They go down!
Bum,
You deserved it.
So annoying. It's always good to have a plan, even if it instantly devolves into a fiery pit. I mean, the fiery pit plan is usually a good one. It just didn't quite work out in this case because, you know, the goblin managed to get out on the other side of the pit, and with Octavia's rising level and
calculated
wizardry,
risk.
it's slowly getting longer and longer before the pit disappears. There we go. Masterwork dagger, masterwork dagger, masterwork short sword. Hey, Valerie, you're out of the pit. Okay, go loot his stuff. Goblin ring, masterwork crossbow. I say goblin ring, ring of protection. Okay, so that's a way into there. I think this is just going to be a cliff wall. So yeah, that's precisely where we wanted to be.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
That was a trap, which we triggered. You shooting at Lindsay?
Any last wishes?
Right, move one range increment. And shoot the guy.
This will hurt.
You didn't attack. It didn't hurt. I love how this turn-based is still flawless as ever. I mean, they are still patching it, or they've patched it a fair amount. Why are they? Damery, okay, you're gonna switch weapons straight away because you're not very good with a bow. You can't charge,
Bring it!
so just move. Valerie attack.
Do not falter!
There we go. Let's try and aggravate it a little bit. Tristan. Let's power up a spell and heal up some Amory. Ta-da! Feeling much better. Still so many goblins. Disliking the way that are running straight past Valerie. I mean, I suppose they could be smart and know that trying to hit the Valerie would be really difficult. Right, Lindsay, I need you To fear all that lot.
F not.
And hopefully she didn't make it. Alright, now step 5 foot back. Switch back to blades and stab that
Let's
guy.
try this way. This should do it.
Run past the person with the big sword. Kill that one. Maybe slightly fed. Reduced to 0 damage. Alright. Not the greatest of tactics, but hopefully it should get me focused on Amory rather than on
So it's
Lindsay.
come to this.
And maybe if... Oh wait, no, they're all running away. That's what's beautiful about this. I mean, I say beautiful about this. It's potentially going to get dangerous if they go running off into their friends. How rude. Right.
This is where I step in.
Finishing stabbing
Calculated
that one.
risk.
Daft goblins. I think there is something fundamentally balked about
They go down!
the AI. Is that I think a lot of the bowmen at least carry around a melee weapon and a bow. And the AI should be, if I'm in melee range, I should switch it out for a melee weapon and stab them. But they'll go for the bow attack and basically trigger an attack of opportunity that leaves them, well, dead in a lot of cases. Right, Tristan, can you go after that one as well? I just want it taken care of before we forget that it's out there. Because yeah, I have a bad feeling this is just gonna attract a lot more goblins. Right, Lindsay, take out that one. I'm gonna go with a charge. What do you mean we can't charge?
This spell doesn't work like that.
This spell doesn't work like that. Then how does it work? You've got a clear line between you and him. You run over there, you stab him in the neck.
Interesting.
Yes, there's a
This
trap.
will hurt.
Just stab the guy. Maybe I should have gone to the other two. Oh, well, right. Well, you at least charge.
I'm not doing it wrong. The spell is blind.
Yep, you can say that one again, Amory. Right, Valerie, can you come back towards Lindsay? Are you allowed to be near Lindsay, or are you going to run away scared? Right, we've lost sight of that other goblin, so keep coming around the house and take out the spell, archery ones. Hey, Tristan actually killed something. 7 more goblins around this way. You get so close, and then you have to run away.
You deserved it.
Run over and stab the guy. See, they have the dagger, but they don't care to get out and use it. Right. Can you get in front? Okay, that's not too bad. Tavia, take all that stuff and move. And you'll open it next time. We got another 7 rounds of this before the fear finally wears off and they'll come actually and attack us. In the meantime, they're just going to keep dilly dancing around other goblins. Disarm this trap. Please don't stuff it up.
A trivial matter.
Hey. And trigger all the other goblins. I think it might be time for a fireball. Well, maybe not. Oh, they can't. Okay. Kinda makes sense.
You can't stop
Kinda
me.
doesn't. Frightened creature may start to flee from its enemies. Oh, hello. There's a spellcaster in there. I don't like spellcasters. See if we can't get rid of him. So many goblins. How many goblins? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 goblins at the moment. What's the CR like on these goblins? We got a 3, an 8, a 3, a 5, an 8, a 3. They keep switching around. A 3, a 3, a 3. So a lot of 3s, but there is the occasional slightly beefier one. And it's mainly those 2 at the back. The alchemist rogue and I don't know. They're varied. Yeah, that is something that
Let's
yeah, I
try
mean,
this
one
way.
of the one of the campaigns, they throw at a level 3. I'm gonna say a level 3 group with allies, and there's potentially like 6 allies. Depending on what the party did leading up to this. But the allies aren't that much stronger than the party themselves. A level 4 group, maybe 6 allies, not much stronger than the party, if not slightly weaker. They throw at
Repent.
the party 100 goblins. Now there is some other stuff going on there, and they don't actually have to kill all of the goblins, but there is 100 of them, and it's not that difficult for the party to survive. It's one of the things that Pathfinder or Paizo has always, I feel, done right, as it were. Is they've got it figured out how to make monsters. And yes, it is a bit of effort on the GM side at times.
This should do it.
You know, it's not something that you could instantly do at the table every single time. basically just be sort of like,
Onwards!
okay, I want a goblin king who's going to be the big boss at level 10.
This is for you!
And you can go through the books and you might be able to find an appropriate level goblin, or there's rules in place for you to be able to
You forced my hand.
take the goblin template, take the level 10 template, smush the two together, and come out with a boss battle for goblins. And, you know, I was looking up some stuff the other day, and it's got, you know, because Alien Archive 4 got released, and I think they introduced another set of 4 different dragon types in Alien Archive 4. Let me just double check that I'm not lying my arse off. Alien Archive 4. Dragon. I could have sworn that they introduced something along. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, in D&D they introduced, cryo, laser, plasma, and projectile. Okay, keep that in mind for just a little while. So yeah, there's a campaign in D&D where they throw literally 100 goblins at a level 3 party. Level 3 to 4, I think. They might just be 5, but it's a fairly low level. But it is literally
Stay
100
behind me.
goblins. And and some other things going on. It's not just 100 goblins.
I'll fight
And
if I
it
have
is
to.
survivable for the party.
I'll
You know,
try
there's a
to make
few
this
things
swift.
going on that mean that it isn't just like 100 goblins descend on the party and murder them. Because I think level 5, they might not be able to survive a straight clash with 100 goblins. I mean, it kind of all depends on how the dice rolls are going.
This is where I
But yeah, Paizo really do have it locked down, and on the whole thing of sort of like, if you have a set of, if you have an idea that you want to make a goblin
A
boss at
calculated
any
risk.
level that you want, level 10, they've got a template and the goblin, and it's like, boom, boom, there you go, here's how to make a
This will
level
hurt.
10 goblin. In the books, you know, if you go through all the different material that they've got a lot of different selections for goblins, you know, ones with different skill sets, because that's the other thing that I find a little bit annoying when it comes to D&D is, you know, the goblin just made himself explode.
So it's come to this.
If you wanted to come out with a goblin warlock, you're looking at homebrewing it. If you're wanting to come out with a goblin druid, you're looking at homebrewing it. And the same applies to so many of the monstrous races that, to all intents and purposes, especially when it comes to the monstrous playable races, goblin, orcs, yuan-ti, kobold, and a couple of others. Can't remember them off the top of my
serves
head.
you right.
Let's try this way.
By that definition, it's possible for them to be of any class that you want, and I'm still not out of this combat because of these two bleeding goblins over here. Yeah, you could do it, and I think. But this is the thing. It's so like, I don't think it's too bad in D&D 5th edition.
You can't stop
If you make a playable character, you know, a PC, but then make them an NPC, I don't think the numbers work out too badly for D&D 5th edition. I do know that for, you know, Pathfinder and Starfinder, there's a massive stat difference between playable characters and non-playable characters. I think they're no longer fair.
You deserved it.
Right. That one's dead, so it's just this one who's getting awfully close to Tristane. Which I then immediately
Tear
miss.
them apart!
Oh good, Amory did some more damage to the thing. Oh wow, you're really lousy at hitting this goblin. Tristane back off 5 feet and then shoot it twice with your crossbow. Or miss twice with your crossbow. So yeah, you can't just take a
Any last wishes?
PC and make him a NPC in Starfinder Pathfinder.
This should do it.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea not killing them. Because if they've been fed a lot of water and we've figured out that the seeds are in the water, this is possibly going to end badly for me. Or for them, and for me. But at the same token, I'm a good guy, and I can't really bring myself to murder all the people beforehand, before they turn. Cloth. Don't get many of those. Robe of air. I'm curious. What is a robe of air? A robe of air has an electric aura, which, if we read it, gives a DC 2 bonus to electrical spells. Is that casting or saving against them? I don't know. But I do believe we actually have clothes for Octavia. Ooh. Fancy. Let's go back
In due
and
time.
loot any bodies that we've missed. Yeah, Xanathar says, "Oh, consider giving them multi-attack," and you know, there's lots of things that you can consider. But at the same token, I'm not entirely sure if Xanathars does any kind of decent job at it. The thatched roof of this broken-backed hut smells of mold and rot. Okay. Let's free some more prisoners. Ta-da! I'm a good guy. That's a terrible, terrible idea. Oh. You are making your way through the goblin camp, a dirty, hastily erected settlement. Built of trash and mortar with what smells like goblin waste. You catch the sight of a silvery glimmer in the water ahead, then suddenly notice a squad of armed goblins moving towards the water as well, shouting and prodding at a few scared peasants in front of them. Seemingly unaware of you, the goblin pushes the prisoner to the water's edge. One of the guards knocks the nearest captive, a decrepit old man, off his feet, and he falls to his knees with a moan. The goblin throws a filthy bent ladle in front of the man and points at the water. "Drink! Fast!" The old man picks up the ladle with shaking hands, then stops, quivering with fear. "Well, what are you waiting for? We have to save them." "I cannot just watch. We have to do something. I beg you." Do not rush to interfere. As much as you may pity these poor souls, we must understand what is going on to save countless others. Not sure if I agree with you there, Valerie, and that's technically chaotically evil, so attack the goblins! May Senrai keep us, for our deeds is good. Hearing your approach, the goblins whirl to see you and start shrieking, whether fear or battle cries you cannot tell. In the heat of the moment, one of them drops his spear, another one steps on the foot of a goblin next to him, and so it goes, causing a ripple of chaos to pass through their ranks. The old man, startled by the noise, drops the ladle into the water, and then, in confusion, staggers to his feet and breaks into a run. The other prisoners follow, leaving the hapless guards howling in anger. But yeah, in D&D, I've yet to see them come out with solid. This is the points where you give them multi-attack. This is the point where you give them layer actions, where you give them epic, or whatever it is for... There's a certain point where dragons and other creatures can basically get legendary resistance, where it's like if they have to make a saving throw, they can instead opt to pass it. And, you know, legendary action, so it's like at the end of another player's turn, you can do one of the following actions.
They go down!
It gives you no hint, no rhyme or reason as to which monsters get these abilities, which monsters don't get these abilities, and if you want to give your monsters these abilities, how you balance it in the slightest.
This is where I step in.
And they've missed a trick there, I feel. I feel that they could have done something like, this is a selection of abilities that you can give a monster that is a CR3 that will raise it to a CR5 for legendary resistance, layer abilities, and legendary actions. And, you know, you as a GM can pull out a bunch of applicable things. But there's no scope for that. Per se. And it wasn't until Curse of Strahd and one of the Adventure League modules has a low-level NPC with a...
Serves you right.
Yeah, I found layer actions are usually restricted to creatures that have layers. That's true, but there's a level 5, I think.
This will hurt.
NPC in the Curse of Strahd's Adventure League modules that has layer actions. Because she is living in her home that
Do not hold
the
back.
game reasonably assumes to be her lair.
Bring it!
They're not particularly devastating layer actions. They're just little things that she has got set up to be a part of the combat. And it works really well.
I'll fight if I have to.
And it is the earliest that I have ever seen a creature with layer actions. And legendary actions, again, there's nothing there as a rule of thumb. You know, to a certain degree. There's nothing there in Starfinder for layer actions. But at the same token, they've got a lot of traps that are layered at different levels of CR, and you could basically make a
Tear them apart!
NPC, put them in their home, have traps like automated turrets that go off at a designated target on initiative 20,
You can't stop me!
and it behaves like layer actions. But that's the thing, you've got traps of all the CRs, so yes, you might want to trim it down a little because at the same token, and you build an encounter. You don't build a bunch of monsters in Starfinder, you build an encounter. So if you wanted to spend some of your encounter budget on a monster, that's fine. But if you wanted to put in some traps and treat them as layer actions, then it gives you a very clean, so like, okay, this is
Let's
a
try
trap.
this way.
It garners this much, at this CR it does this amount of damage, and you can build, monsters
according to plan.
and Masterwork Dagger. You can build monsters and traps into a single encounter. They even give you advice on, it's like if it's a single use trap, then it does this level of damage. If it's likely to go off for multiple rounds, what you do is you halve the amount of damage. I think it is, off the top of my head. The ground here is soaked. Okay, great stuff. Let's
I'm
have
listening.
a little bit of healing from Tristane to Valor. Amory, that's the name. Nice. And let's continue going. The wounds on the man's body were left. The wounds on the man's body were left by Goblin Spear. There's a box right there. Ooh, energy source. If the wearer of this ring has the ability to channel energy, it allows them to do it an additional 2 times per day. Okay, very nice. And a master workshop. Oh, okay, Tristane, we have a new ring for you. Alright, I think that's going to impact your AC a little bit too much. So, oh, that's a bit awkward. This signet grants the wearer the ability to cast Bless as a first level cleric spell 3 times a day, which is very useful. But why do you have negative constitution? You're still cursed? Whoops. Alright, so let's
How may I help?
see what. No, don't.
What's the holdup?
Oh,
Onwards! Together!
alright.
Right here, my friend.
Spells. I removed all the remove curse. Oh no, there's one. There we go. Remove the curse. And now let's have a look at his spellbook for level 1. Yeah, let's get rid of them and give him a couple of blasts. Because I usually use a couple of blasts. I could have removed Fear on Valerie earlier. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put this on pause and I'm going to take a quick no, we're going to make it a quick 5-minute break. I don't think I need a full 10-minute break today. It's just my throat is rather parched and dry and there is no coffee in my mug. So, going to BRB while I go get myself a new coffee. Be right back. Hello. Apparently it takes me more than 5 minutes to go get a coffee. Although, I think that might actually be the cheese. Shouldn't have put so much in my mouth all at the same time. But yeah, I was just like thinking to myself, one of the things is I do criticize D&D a fair amount. It's just because I'm a little bit biased towards Starfinder, because I just find it a much more interesting system, both as a GM and as a player. It's just so much easier for my creativeness. I mean, one of the things, a friend of mine used to give advice on, GMing for D&D, and it's all, one of the basic things is, if you want to make something difficult, you give the players about a 70% chance to, what's wrong with cheese at this time of night? Did I miss a memo or something? If you want to make something difficult for the players, you give them about a 30% chance to succeed. If you want to make something reasonably easy for the players, you give them about a 70% chance of succeeding. And with the very tight numbers that you actually get within D&D, cheese and coffee at this time of night. Anyway, I mean, I can count, the coffee is decaf, so it doesn't really help, and I've always been able to just... Cheese does not give you nightmares. I do not know where you heard that from. I mean, I've heard it as well, but it's one of them where it's just poppycock. I mean, I don't really think it affects me, because I don't really dream anyway. So, maybe eating cheese will help stimulate some part of my mind. I wanted something to snack on, and cheese was the only thing that I could find, apart from one crumpet. And who eats one crumpet? And because D&D is such tight numbers, it's actually fairly easy to come up with things off the cuff, because, that a rogue has stats, for example. If you're trying to figure out how to quickly off the cuff come up with the saving throw, that certain characters will be proficient in a saving throw, other characters won't be proficient. But that at level 1 through 4, the proficiency bonus is 2. 5 through 8, it's 3, etc. And there's no way of getting expertise on a saving throw. And also, that the stat range, the minimum is an 8, the maximum is a 20 under usual circumstances. You don't want to penalise players for those who have managed to get exceptional circumstances. So you just go off the usual circumstances. So it's 8 to 20, which is a -1 to a +5. Their class may give them a bonus, or it may not. So you're looking at a 1 through 7. Yeah, 1 through 7. A -1 through +7 as a baseline saving throw against reflex. That the rogue is going to, have the +7. That the druid, I don't think druids get dex as a saving throw, isn't. And that the cleric has a very low dex score, and they're probably at the -1, but the druid might have a reasonable dex, for example. But with knowing that it's 1 through 8, or 1 through 7, which is an 8-point swing, if you want to make a DC saving throw, just off the cuff, if you want to make it dex saving throw, I might have said reflex, dex, reflex, Starfinder, D&D. Hopefully everybody here knows what I'm on about. If you want that swing, You know, if you come out with a number like 15, you know that the rogue is going to pass that with 7 plus. You know that the non-person, the negative 1 person is going to pass it with the 16 plus. And you can just sort of like shift it up. And, you know, if you want to make it possible, you can just set the DC as like a 19. And then it's definitely possible for the non-dexterous people, because the negative 1 on the natural 20 is possible, but it's very difficult, like only a 5% chance. If you want to make it the 30% chance, then you just need to add 6 onto it. So, or take 6 off of it. So, the 19 becomes a 13, and then it's a difficult and an easy. You can come up with these numbers, especially, if you're GMing. I mean, I don't have the figures to hand, and I'd be scratching out on a pen with a piece of paper between sessions when I'm thinking of throwing in a trap, should that come up. So to a certain degree, you don't need all the calculations that Starfinder give you, because one of the things about Starfinder is the numbers start getting a little bit wild. I have a character, and they started off with a 11 plus 11 bonus to a couple of skills. So trying to come out, and you'll have other characters who have a -2 to a skill, and a -1 to a skill. And if they're not trained, then they don't get certain bonuses, and the numbers are a lot wilder, which kind of means that if you don't have somebody who can work with a particular skill, then it's impossible. But that makes sense to me. It's like, Starfinder has computers. If you've got nobody trained in computers in the party whatsoever, what is the chance of them being able to walk up to a random terminal somewhere and hack into it? There's next to no chance. Problem that I have with D&D is there is no skills where it's a history check, for example. You may have a party that is full of dullards who have never cracked open a history book in their life, never paid any attention to it, not got any skill whatsoever. It's a -1. They want to know something about the history of a town, and everybody rolls a dice because they can, and it's a DC 15, because it's not common knowledge, DC 5, but it's not rare knowledge, DC 25. It's knowledge. You give it a DC 15, 6 people all around the table, no interest in history whatsoever, all roll dices. Chances are one of them's going to roll higher than a 16. 15. And when that one person rolls it, it's like, here's the information. And it's not bad to give out this information. You do actually want the players to know what's going on, but at the same token, there's nothing that you can do to basically say, no, you can't do this. You can, as a GM, turn around and say, it's all like, no, none of you know anything about this region, so you don't get to know anything. But that's basically stopping the character, or any of the players, basically, by turning around and going, well, actually, I came from this region. This is where I grew up, so wouldn't I get at least a chance? Yes, but you're a barbarian who still has difficulty putting on their shoes in the morning. Why? Okay, fine, make a history roll. Oh, natural 20, yes, okay. Now I've got to give the barbarian who knows barely his left foot from his right foot the detailed history of this area because of a roll of a dice. And yes, okay, as a GM, you can sort of like hand wave it and, sort of like still not give out as much information as you wanted, but it all feels a little bit forced if you do that. And, it's like, this is as much information as I'm willing to give out, based on the dice, based on things, but, At the same token, it's all, if you don't want the players to know something, then you just don't tell them. You just don't give them a dice roll. You need to have a reasonably good reason for this. So, everybody gets teleported to a town 1,000 miles from any civilization you once knew. Nobody is going to know the laws of that town. Conversely, they're going to know all the intrinsic laws of a town that they grew up in. So you could tell that, if they're about to break the law, you can turn around and tell them. It's like, you do realize that this in this town is against the law, right? Yep, okay. Just checking that you're aware that you're breaking the rules. You can tell them without needing a history roll, without needing a any kind of roll whatsoever. You can just tell them this information. Whereas, you send them out into the middle of nowhere, and it's like, yeah, you can roll on it, but you're never going to hit the DC 50 that I've got in my head, because you're just not from around here. Anyway. So yes, D&D is very easy for coming up with off-the-cuff stuff. Some of the rules don't quite make sense to me, but at the same token, it can be got around with a little bit of GMing experience. And the other thing that I remembered is, I mentioned cryo, laser, plasma, and projectile. They are, because of the way that Paizo release the alien archives and detail, so like the graphs, and it's like, if you want a dragon that is of this CR, you basically take this line out of this book and apply these abilities to it, and ta-da, you've got a CR 15 dragon, or a CR 5 dragon, or a CR 25 dragon, or a dragon whelp of a CR 1/2. You can do that. And the reason why I mentioned cryo, laser, plasma, and projectile, in their latest alien archives, they've come out with yet another 4 dragons for GMs to play with, should they so desire, which I think really helps Paizo just come out with new and interesting things, whereas because it's all detailed and rulebooky, and there isn't really guidelines in the D&D side, it's all, if they wanted to come out with some new dragons, it would require another, 4 new dragons would require, 4 new dragon types would require another math head 12 pages of a book. With the way that Paizo do it, it's 2 pages. One to tell you about them, and one to tell you how to make them. And I just find that so much more elegant solution. But anyway, back to the game at hand. This is why I put it on pause. I had a feeling that we were going to trip over more goblins.
This should do it.
I do wonder, J Station mentioned it's like, if this was D&D, they'd have to throw, like hundreds of goblins. I am tired. What? It's coming up to 11 o'clock. Oh, it's just past 11 o'clock. No wonder I'm tired. You'd have to throw a metric fuck ton of goblins. Oh my word! At D&D players, and I mentioned one adventure path where it threw 100 goblins at the party. I wonder how many goblins I've been through now. A level 10 fighter, a level 8 rogue. They're slowly getting more difficult. I mean, they're not doing a very good job at hitting me, but they're certainly trying, at least. Right. Let me show you how it's done. I'm so glad at least some of those hit, because I just had visions as soon as that first one missed it. So let me show you how it's done. Miss, 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 miss. Fuck.
They go down.
Oh, come on.
This is
Me and my dice rolls.
Let us strike as one.
There we go. That's somebody who knows how to use a sword. Rock Eye. Oh wow, I really need to get Lindsay some more speed. Oh, this is terrible. That was a terrible, terrible idea. I want to get somebody back there. Nice, clean path. Alright. You guys murder those guys. Sometime today. That'd be nice. There we go. Lindsay, you seem to have gotten yourself into a little bit of a pickle. I know that it was my fault, but try and kill these guys.
You forced my hand.
Is there anything anybody in the chat wants to talk about? Sorry, I'm eating and I'm trying to concentrate on the game. I'm really tired all of a sudden for some reason.
Let's try this way.
Alright, I'll put my cheese to one side. And I'm still not back on the game. Why did nobody mention that? There we go. Now we're back into the game.
Bring it!
Nobody mentioned it because I don't think there's anybody left here. PlayStation might. Hey, St. Nicholas Stew. Yeah, it's one of them things. Again, I'm allowed to break my own rule. I own the game. There's other people in the chat and other people that I knew who'll be watching who don't yet own the game. I'm loving it so far, and I wish I could talk about it, but I really don't want anybody spoiling anything for me or anything for anybody else in the chat. So, as you can see, that's the only warning that you get. And I will go through with bans if necessary. How you doing, anyway?
Do not falter!
Are you alright? I seem to recall your name from previous. Are you already a follower? I can't remember. Yeah, you are. Cool. Welcome back. Just... Yeah, this is the thing. It's like... It's one of the reasons why I'm actually still just streaming my Pathfinder game here. It is because I know that some people aren't going to be interested in Cyberpunk. I am going to be streaming Cyberpunk at other times. It's just, you know, I don't want to cross-contaminate it because, you know, not everybody's interested and some people might just want to watch Pathfinder. And not get spoilers to Cyberpunk. So... I'm playing my second DOS playthrough. And then we'll play this. DOS. I'm lousy at abbreviations. See, I want to play say Pillars of Eternity, but that is not it whatsoever, because that's PoE. Divinity Original Sin. There we go. It's one of them games where it's like, I'm pretty sure I know what this should be. Yeah, that's on my to play list. I own it and I've dabbled in it.
Tear them apart!
And yeah, that's another reason why it's all like
They go down!
I figured that there'll be enough people streaming Cyberpunk to sort of like saturate the market. I mean, it's one of them things that I've noticed this evening is I've not got half as much just foot traffic. But at the same token, it's like I don't agree with just jumping on bandwagons because of the sake of bandwagons. Yeah, I might do the I've got so many games that I'm gonna stream that are all long duration games. I honestly didn't think that, you know, I've been streaming for nearly 4 months now. This is session 30, so wow, it's coming up. Wait, no, session 30. It's 15 weeks. So yeah, it's been
So it's come
3.5 months, and I don't think I'm any closer to the end. Yeah, I've been a fan of Larian Studios for a while. I actually played the original Divine Divinity back in the day, and they've always, you know, one of the things that I like about them is that they don't take it themselves too seriously and occasionally break the third wall, which kind of leaves me hoping that they really don't do that for Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of them where it's like everybody jumped on the bandwagon and I noticed my general foot traffic just dip a little when it came out. I've not played that one yet, and I've avoided all spoilers and streams like the plague because I want to play it with fresh eyes, but I also want to play it when it's finished, which apparently won't be for another year yet. So, or it wasn't for another year at the release, which was a couple of months ago now. And that Goblin Alchemist really needs to know he's mainly doing damage to his own people. Has he blown himself? Oh no. Like, where is... Oh, there's the Goblin Alchemist.
This is where I step in.
Oh, Tristan, do you want to move up a little? But yeah, I've never been disappointed with any of the Divinity series. About the only thing that I will say is sometimes it's easy for me to lose focus. But I find that I lose focus with video games anyway. Hence the reason why I'm streaming them and sticking to a schedule. I would have put down Pathfinder Kingmaker months ago if it wasn't for the fact that it's like, no, I need to keep to my schedule and I need to keep moving forward. Right, if you could all just stop stabbing me, that'd be great. Okay, you're not gonna stab me anymore. Amory, can you get to the Alchemist?
What's that?
There we go. Let's...
I'll fight if I have to.
This is Goblin Seekers attacking Lindsay. Let's get rid of him. Yeah, I'm gonna play 2020. I'm more of a sci-fi fan than I am a fantasy fan. So Cyberpunk 2077 is a must for my taste. Not heard of Solasta, Crown of the Magistrates, but I'm liking what you're putting down with Divinity, with Baldur's Gate 3, with Path of the Righteous. I don't own Path of the Righteous yet. I know that it's out on beta because I'm part of the Kickstarter, and they've told me that people in beta, people who paid for the beta, have already
Serves you
been
right.
playing it. But I'll be getting that when it's finished. So I might actually have to... Do I have a notebook to hand? Of course I have a notebook to hand. I'm going to write down that... Solasta Crown of the Manchester... Because you've got me curious. But yeah, if they came out with... Oh, okay. That's curious. I've not heard... Well, I mean... Is it official D&D, or is it just making use of a D&D rule set? Yeah, I mean, for me, I got notified of Wrath of the Righteous quite simply because I was
You
already
can't stop
part of
me.
their mailing lists. Because I got Kingmaker on Kickstarter as well. Back in the day. And I just find it's a nice way of getting video games that you definitely know that you're going to buy when they get released.
You
And
deserve
given
it.
the fact that Owlcat Studios, and I think this is one of the first foyers into video games that Paizo at least were involved with. Who's this one? It's that one. Right.
Repent!
Kill that guy. No, you didn't manage to kill that guy. You know, I'm against Kickstarter being you know, if not Cyberpunk, but big game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If that got kickstarted, then I wouldn't want anything to do with it because I really don't think Ubisoft need more money through Kickstarter. But when Kingmaker got announced, I'm a fan of Paizo, and I don't think Owlcat Studios is a very big studio. Really need to remember to kill that guy. So I didn't mind kickstarting this. You know, with the second one as well. If they do a third via Kickstarter, I might be selling. You'll get my money when it's finished. But at the same token, it depends on if they offer me anything. I am very, very easily swayed when it comes to freebies, especially if it's on a Kickstarter. Ooh.
I'm wounded.
Whoa, I am nearly dead. Okay, kill that guy
This
and then the
will
other guy.
hurt.
That will help you stay alive. No, okay, just miss 4 times in a row on one guy. But yeah, I'll definitely check out that game. I'll see what it's like. The thing is, I've got so many games that I've not played through yet, which is, like I say, why I've started streaming. I've got Pillars of Eternity that's on my backlist, which is another game that I was thinking of streaming. Pillars of Eternity 2. I don't own that one yet, but if Pillars of Eternity is decent, then I'll probably own Pillars of Eternity 2 before long. Numenera, Planescape Tides of Numenera? Torment Tides of Numenera, that's what it's called. I get confused with the name in that one because it's all like...
I'll try to make this
Planescape
sweet.
is a D&D setting. Torment was the name of the CRPG Planescape Torment, which came out with the original Baldur's Gate using the Infinity engine. And then the guy who wrote the Planescape Torment set up Monty Cook, who then got in exile to make a video game. And because he wanted everybody to be very sure that it was a spiritual successor to the previous game, although it's got nothing to do with Planescape, he decided to call it Torment. But Numenera is the game system that it's based on, and the setting that it's based in. So confusing. Gets me every time. Okay, you're just wearing junk. Let's have a look. Everybody here. Junk, 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 junk. Take that. Junk. Then masterwork. That's a masterwork. I'm gonna make a lot of money out of junk swords in this place. Yeah, I'm a little bit hit and miss when it comes to what do you call it? The crude fence made out of some splintered log crudely tied together with weed rope. Reed rope, not weed rope. Does that look like I can get the... Oh no. What's that line? Oh, it's just a mark on the map. The actual piece of paper. Yeah, I don't mind stuff that's getting kickstarted. I don't mind high quality stuff from independent studios. I've been burnt a couple of times. If you've ever heard of Castle Story, that was massively successful on Kickstarter, but never really went anywhere.
It is finished.
And the studio that produced it has since collapsed.
In due time.
Or semi-collapsed. I mean, they made a lot of money on Kickstarter, hired a bunch of people based off that money, and then kind of failed to deliver and kind of failed to come up with a new idea. So then subsequently had to pretty much fire everybody off. And
You see that?
no, there it is. Okay. Oh look, more goblins. Now this is the thing. It's all, I've not got anything against people trying, but it's all like there's so many projects on Kickstarter where it's like, oh yeah, that looks like it could be interesting. But I'm sometimes reluctant to put money on it because it's all like, there's just a lot of scope for things to go wrong. And I did not heal myself up. Why did I not heal myself up? That is a silly idea. I'm nearly dead. So not paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. Alright, Tristan, do me a favour and put a few more hit points into me. There we go. Now I'm back and fighting fit. Especially with complex systems, you know. Oh, hello. Because D&D 5th edition, if you've ever been around me before, I'll say that it's a simplistic tabletop role-playing system, especially if you compare it to Pathfinder and Starfinder. But at the same token, you know, from a developer's point of view, even a simplistic system like D&D 5th edition is going to be a lot of programming. So, I wish them well, and, you know, I'll certainly be checking out the game. It's just one of them where it's like, I feel that that's got a lot of scope for the project to go wrong. so I probably wouldn't have kickstarted it even if I knew about it. It's also another one of them, like I said earlier, it's like I'm a massive fan of
So it's come to this.
sci-fi. Not as big a fan of fantasy, although I do quite enjoy fantasy. And one of the things is there is so many games out there that are, in a similar vein. You've got Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2, Baldur's Gate, the Pathfinder games, Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, Tides of Numenera is kind of sci-fi. It's a weird sci-fi. I like it, but it very firmly sits in the position of fantasy sci-fi.
This is for you!
Yeah, there's a lot coming out, and it is a great time for the genre, especially since we're coming off the back of a dry
Any last
run.
wishes?
I mean, I'm trying to remember any major ones. I mean, Divinity is the only real one that's been trying to keep it up, especially in this style.
Tear them apart!
Because don't get me wrong, I don't mind Elder Scrolls, I don't mind the Witcher series, but there is so few. There was a period where there was just so few games of this style.
Onward!
My only wish is that there was more sci-fi games in this style. I can't,
This
Tides
should
of
do it.
Numenera
Let yourself open.
kind of is this style and is kind of sci-fi,
I'll fight if I have to!
but there seems to be literally nothing that springs to mind.
is where
Correct
I
me if I'm wrong, because I would love to be wrong. That firmly sits in the genre of sci-fi in this style of game.
Down!
You forced my hand.
I'd love to see them come out with a sort of like Starfinder
Please.
variety of, if Owlcat Studios decided to do a Starfinder adventure path as one of their games. Even if it was one of the shorter ones, like Against the Aeon Throne. I'd be all over that. I don't want to kill them, just open the door. Seems very insistent that I kill somebody. Ooh, a Kuriki. Mother's Warmth. Which I'm guessing... I mean... +2 Flaming Keen. Look at that crit range, 15 to 20. That's a hell of a crit range. I mean, I'm not even using the daggers that I'm good at using. Why? Oh, it's a martial. It's a little bit annoying. I might have to look at getting some feats to go for the Kuriki, because I'm pretty sure there's another one that I've found somewhere that's actually a pretty good Kuriki. It might just be a +2 or something like that.
That is not far.
Oh, hello. You have a name. Hello. Tigni Jusmert. You, yes, you there. Let me out of here. Come on, move on. Are you waiting for an entire goblin horde to show? I've had to deal with dozens of goblins on my way here. A few more are a little concerned. Who are you? The corpulent man in a ragged jacket and worn-out trousers in this cage, his hands tight on the bars as if trying to throttle them. Tiggin jures me to free merchant. Now with the formalities out the way, can you please see about setting me free? Don't let him out. He's a scoundrel. He never missed a chance to fleece honest, hard-working folk. He'd even shake down refugees. He has no shame. You had it coming, wretch. Where are your thugs now? Tiggin? Having a hard time sleeping on the dung mat? Let him rot in this cage, or in a goblin's belly, I don't care. No, don't listen to them. I've no idea what they're on about. Would you let an innocent man die because of lies and gossip? What are the people talking about? Did you cheat those people? What? No, nothing of the like. Slander and nonsense, all of it. See, I'm playing lawful good. I'd like to set him free, but also have him arrested at the same time. If that makes sense? But I can't, so it's be silent. Of course I'm setting you free. Calm down and let me deal with the lock, will you? At last, if I make it out of this alive, I'll never set foot in these lands again. Good, because I was going to throw you in jail.
As a enemy approaching.
Shoot.
You can't stop me.
Oh my word. Let's have a little bit of healing.
I'm writing you out of our story.
That's an interesting taunt. I'm writing you out of our story of trying to kill somebody. Oh my word, 3 natural ones in the first round.
A calculated risk.
Stay behind me!
So many goblins.
Consider me provoked.
I'll try to make this swift.
Bum ba bum. Move forward so that when you just outright kill that. Wow.
Let us rise as one!
Tell me on. 23, 39.
This is for
Probably not going to get this area finished by the end of this
So
stream.
it's come to this.
There's been a lot of combat in this one. And by the looks of it, there's going to be a lot of combat still left to go. I mean, there's all this area of the map. Emery. Murder! Murder! Murder!
Do not falter.
I'm guessing he's got something that makes him immune to whatever it is. That sneak attack, precision damage. Tabia, can
I'll
you
fight
get
if I
rid of
have
that
to.
guy in the background? Okay, that's going to take a little more than Octavia.
Repent.
Lindsay, join in.
Strike worth a legend.
Okay. What level are we? We are level 9. 20,000 XP to go. Slowly getting there. I really want to avoid that trap. Although,
This
if I am
will
the
hurt.
rogue, I could have just disarmed it. I thought this was Valor.
Onwards.
Quick question, St. Nicholas, I think 20 is possible, so you have a long way to go. Have you actually played this one through to completion?
You can't stop me.
This is kind of like my first playthrough, with no looking up of
You
much.
forced my hand.
Oh, you've not even started it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that essentially the character sheet goes up to level 20, so I think it's all programmed in there. There's also this Beneath the Stolen Lands, which I think is a pseudo-random. Yeah, once you finish Divinity Original Sin 2, this would be a game to play while waiting on the games you named. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Serves you right.
Yeah, it's been in my to-do list. Like I say, I got it in Kickstarter, so it's been on my to-do list since basically launch, but I didn't like it when it was
Let's try this.
real time. When this game came out, there was no turn-based option, and it really, I struggled to play it.
A trivial matter.
So when they came out with the turn-based, it was like, okay, this is my time to be able to do this, and I've really enjoyed it being turn-based. In my humble opinion, it's so much
All
more playable.
according to plan.
You know, I appreciate that the interface isn't that drastically different
In due
from
time.
Baldur's Gate. 1 and 2, at least. But it's just the fact that, you know, Pathfinder is so much crunchier, there's so much more going on, and at times you have to be paying
What a find!
so much more attention.
This requires your attention.
That I really do think that having it turn-based allows... Hello? Something over here. You just concentrate and think on it more, and it makes for
Follow my
such a better game. And I do kind of prefer my turn-based over my real-time. You know, especially when it is a strict turn-based, it's not a pseudo turn-based, because Baldur's Gate was pseudo turn-based, where it's like everything happened in rounds, and yes, you could have a lot of triggers on it, which basically, you know, you could have a trigger that basically signifies the end of the round for it to put in an auto pause. We've got a bunch of drunken goblins and some braces. Braces of armor +4. Ooh, nice. Didn't somebody... I don't know, Tristan's already got them. Octavia? Ooh, braces of armor 3. Up to a 4. Nice. But you know, Baldur's Gate was a simplified... Well, no, it wasn't so much simplified. It was essentially based around AD&D, which is 2nd edition. Belly on fire, head be stone, on ground go round, and ground go round. Ooh. Hey, why you pull me less? Pull more, and or I make you head hurt. Okay. Those goblins are drunk, and they need to go home. There's more drunk goblins.
That is not far.
I was expecting more combat.
It is finished.
Ah, Estral, have mercy, you scared us. You, who are you? Have you come to rescue us? What are you doing here? Hiding. We managed to flee from the shaman right after the ritual. That little freak almost drowned us. At first he was jumping all around us and waving his crutch, and then he took a pot of water and started pouring it into us. I thought that'll be the end of us. And then it got weird. The goblins untied us from the column, led us away, and then just forgot about us. They were busy with the other prisoners. Well, we didn't lose any time, and now we're thinking of climbing down this slope and getting out of here. How did you manage to hide from the goblins? They haven't really looked for us, to be honest. So we just hid in these bushes, and we were waiting for the right moment to make a run for it. You haven't escaped. You were released after they infected you with the magic seeds. What? You mean the water? No, it can't be. Stop scaring us. We just need to get out of this place. Climb down the hill and run away. The militia headquarters are located near the goblin camp. Head there. Once we've freed all the prisoners, we'll find a way to cure you. Bye! Well, that's annoying. I've got to take the long way. Come on, move it. There we go. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were based on AD&D, which wasn't as complicated of rule sets. And also, I think they trimmed out a lot of things to make it work for the technology available at the time. I don't know, I could also just be getting old.
I believe I found something.
I've always just liked the ability to sort of like have everything turn-based so that I can just take as long as I want on a turn as needs be to think things through when I need to think things through. I appreciate on this stream I tend to do a lot of impulsive things when it comes to combat, and I'm not 100% of the time always thinking everything through. That's mainly just
I shall end this suffering.
to keep the game moving forward at a reasonable rate. Okay, depending... Well, this is probably going to be the last combat of this stream. Probably just going to finish this and then get off. They are ferocious. Hopefully there isn't too many goblins. But yeah, because I've heard, you know, there's
I'll try to make this
another
swift.
streamer, Geeks for Good, and he basically said that he tried playing
This should
this
do it.
on stream, and his viewership numbers just went down. But he's a very methodical. So like every round, you know, this is before it was turn-based, and every round it'd be sort of like, okay, put it on pause, figure out what you're doing for the round, figure out what you're doing, and go around all of the characters, and then, you know, now that he's gone through it all, unpause it for a round, then repause it, and then go through everybody again, and make sure that they're all doing something, and
Stay behind
it
me.
just kind of disrupted the flow to the point where he felt that it was unwatchable. I'm not saying what I'm doing is any better, but because it's what I'm basing my channel on, at least for the moment, it's like, for the most part, I'm just playing this on stream so that I've got some kind of schedule. And because I just end up talking to myself anyway, I might as well do it on camera and on a stream. And talk to actual people rather than just myself.
So it's come to this.
But doing it on a schedule will help me focus in a
calculated
lot
risk.
more than I usually would. And oh my god, my dice rolls. There's also an alchemist out back that I have noticed doing things.
Tear them apart!
Right, who is this? Valerie.
Do not falter.
Yeah, take out that guy. And now that we can see this guy, let's start taking pot shots at him. And it is a very good game, you know, it's one of them where it's like, I'm not forcing myself to play this game. I am enjoying myself playing this game, because if I wasn't, I'd just be streaming Cyberpunk right now. And be saying, like, yeah, no, I've had enough of Pathfinder, I'm going over to Cyberpunk.
This
I am
will
enjoying
hurt.
this. It's just, I know normally what would happen is I play a game
For you!
for so long, and then I get a little bit bored and a little bit frustrated, and I think, I'm just going to take a bit of a break and play something else for a bit,
Not dead yet.
and never get around to picking it back up again. Which I feel doesn't do me any favors when it comes to finishing games, because I very rarely finish games because I take too long of a break, fail to realize what I'm doing when I pick it up again, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna have to give it up here and start again, and then it's going through the motions, and I never get past the part that I got
You
to
forced my
originally,
hand.
because I'm so like, okay, I'm kind of bored of this again. Right, I should have healed me a little. I didn't. It's okay. I'm just gonna have to... Can we kill this guy before... No, we can't kill this guy. Can I hold this guy? There we go. You have failed your will saving throw. You will not be throwing a grenade this time. Yeah, I'll be heading the same way myself. It's just going to be this fight. Thanks for stopping by. And hope to see you again sometime.
I'm wounded.
Onwards.
Are you now into... Yeah, you're now into the negatives. That's really important that I
deserved it.
sort you out soon. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Let's... crack off another heal. Glad the game didn't screw up. That was not a great heal.
Let's try this way.
It's another goblin down. Ooh, and another goblin down. Nice. Alright.
I'll fight if I have to.
Take out the paralyzed now. Goblin. Oof.
Bring it!
Stay behind me.
Oh,
Any
still
last
hell. Ha 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 ha. Alright, let's just do a little bit of looting so I don't forget. Oof. Another shard, masterwork short sword. Alright, let's burn
Confiding.
off a couple of channels. There we go, that was a nice one. Well, we triggered a trap. And it's a dog slicer +1. Alrighty-o. If there's anyone still left around, thank you for joining me. I'm going to call it here. I get a feeling that if I get too far... If I go too far up this way, I'm just going to trigger another combat. And I just don't feel like I've got it in me right now for another combat. Continuing on with Seasons of the Bloom, free or kill the prisoners, find the Goblin Shaman, and learn what he knows. And that is going to be it. Let's have a little bit of just talking. I don't know why I've turned it on to just talking. Let's wind down. I'm tired. Yeah, sleepy times. Very much so. Oi. So yeah, I'll be back on Tuesday, streaming more Pathfinder Kingmaker. Like I said, top of the stream, I'm thinking of streaming some Cyberpunk 2077. That's likely to be on the Fridays and the Mondays. I'm gonna see about getting it set up for tomorrow, but no guarantees. I appreciate that some people in the chat aren't interested, and I'm basically hitting a saturated market, but it's one of them where it's like, I want to play Cyberpunk. Even at this early stage, it's all like starting it again. I feel that there's some different routes that I could take. So it'll be interesting to play that out and see how it differs from the main the game that I will be playing. On my main character, as it were. But yeah, not going to go too much into detail about that because I appreciate some of you are around not to hear about Cyberpunk, and it's a little bit unfair of me saying don't talk about Cyberpunk when I'll be talking about it. So yeah, might be around tomorrow, might be Monday, might be Tuesday, depending on how things go. Don't forget to tell people to come watch my stream if they've got any interest in D&D Pathfinder. They might find this somewhat entertaining, and if not, if there's just 19 people out there that you could all agree to get to follow, I'd be doing the giveaway. Alright, so I am gonna check if Halfsinger. That's what I do. My brain is so turned off right now. I find out if Halfsinger Games is playing yet. She is. She started her stream. I close that window before it starts making some noise. I'm gonna click over to the end of stream. I'm gonna start up a raid. I'm gonna send you all off to my good friend Halfsinger Games, who is currently playing a homebrew Starfinder campaign called Starfound. Halfsinger Games. So yeah, say hi from me, and I'll catch you next time. Daddy bye.